Today's show is sponsored by DVCBuyResale.com. DVCBuyResale.com is a great place to buy or sell your Disney Vacation Club membership. You can view their current Disney Vacation Club resales, get answers to frequently asked questions, and see the DVC points charts all at DVCBuyResale.com. Or call Chantel directly at 1-800-844-4099. This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, December 28th, 2007, and this is episode 350 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm your host, Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. On the show today, we have Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Mike, how was your Christmas?
Oh, it was great. I was going to ask you how was yours, but I don't have
Tuesday for me.
Tuesday. How was Puerto Rico, by the way?
Warm, believe it or not.
Very nice.
Also, on the show today, we have Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com and All Ears Net. Hi, Mike.
What is that? I'm going to toss my crackers. And these people below me, they ain't going to like that. Trust me.
That's the worst Iago impression I've ever heard. But that's Tiki Room. But A for effort, Mike.
Thank you very much, senor.
And also on the show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Hi, Len.
Matt, I must say you look rather fetching in your Speedo bikini fitting
It's a mankini. Mankini.
It's a mankini. Okay.
That's
anyway, right. You fill it out well.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's the bro.
It's the bro.
The Manzier. Is that the Manzier?
That's Manzier, the bro.
On today's show, we're going to be talking about the big movers and shakers for the Unofficial Guide Reader Survey. And what that means...
Get the bell ready.
Yeah, that's right. What that means is that...
start pounding now.
Yeah, Len, why don't you explain what it means exactly? Because I don't want to... You'll do it better justice than I can.
So, as you know, every year we survey Walt Disney World guests about their favorite attractions in the park, and we ask them to rate them on a scale of 0 to 5 stars. We put the survey online along with when the 2008 edition was released in August 2007. And since then, we've had almost 1,000 people send in their 1,000 families send in their survey responses. So in tonight's podcast, we thought we'd give our listeners a first glimpse at some of the attractions that are moving up, some of the attractions that are moving down, and maybe start talking about why we think those attractions are moving. So I'm going to go in roughly alphabetical order here, right, as we talk about them, if that's okay.
Go for it.
The first one is Cinderella's Golden Carousel at Fantasyland in the Magic Kingdom. Grade school kids rated as 4 stars. Teens surprisingly rated as 3 stars. These are all, by the way, up from the survey in the Unofficial Guide. Young adults give it 3 stars. Over 30 crowd give it 3 stars, and seniors even give it 3 stars. And that's more than we.
I started riding this again. This past year. I don't know why. I haven't ridden it in years. I always thought it had a long line, and then we started going around to it and be like, oh wow, there's no line for the carousel. Let me ride it.
It's not. It's deceptive. I mean, even with 20 or 25 people backing up towards PhilharMagic, it's still everyone gets on the next ride.
Yeah, well, it's got huge capacity.
Yeah, it does. It's a deceptively large capacity. That's right. I think that's part of it too. The other thing I think that makes it popular is that parents and kids are together and interact during the ride, right? So they're not just sitting there watching some screen passively. The parents are either sitting right next to or holding on to the children and talking during the ride. And I think that's that interactivity is something that is a key element in the attraction that maybe Disney has inadvertently missed or they're benefiting from. The next attraction is... Yeah, go ahead. We'll talk about it more. Attraction that's gone down, in fact, across every single age group over the last couple of years is the Backlot Tour over at the studios.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of complaints about that.
It's preschool kids give it 2 stars. Grade school is 3. Teens are 3.5. Young adults are 3. Pretty much no one gives it more than 4 stars, and that's seniors actually who probably remember the actual movies. Or maybe it was a Golden Girls reference that. It's down across every category.
Yeah, I mean, what it is, I think it's a shell of its former self. Really go back to it. Every iteration of it has gotten progressively worse. Now without the animators there, you see the film with Mushu is okay. It's certainly not as good as the Walter Cronkite film, I thought. with Robin Williams.
This is the Backlot tour, not the.
Backlot tour. What am I thinking of?
Well,
Wow.
still same thing though. I mean, I like your observation that every iteration is getting futurism.
Yeah, but no, the Backlot tour is
Still
even
the same
worse.
for the Backlot tour.
Yeah, because well, they axed off like half the attraction. You know, I mean, what do you have? You have the water tank thing, which is okay. Then you go through. The best part, I think, is a little prop top, but you can't actually stop there. You actually have to walk through it. You go on the Catastrophe Canyon. I don't know. Scopa, I mean, I like it. It's not great, and it's certainly going down. Scopa, what's your opinion on it?
I agree with you, Matt. I think that it's a shell of its former self. I think that the removal of what was the name of that street?
Residential Street.
Residential Street, and of course the elimination of the animators. I mean, just
there's no.
sense-
Yeah, no. Sorry to interrupt you, Mike. I was just going to say that.
Catastrophe Canyon, and that's it. Why don't they just call it Catastrophe Canyon?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Try to make it
Cut
backwards.
cut the attraction.
because there used to be the whole premise of the attraction was that you would go on it and you might see real production.
And
You
there's
are-
no chance of that
There
now,
is
right?
zero chance of it now. Now all right. No, let's be honest. They have the little costume shop, which still does something over there. But I mean,
But I mean, they're referencing Madonna. When was the last time Madonna was in a film? I mean, come on.
I know it's terrible. No, I wholeheartedly agree.
I personally think that the changeover with the Backlot tour is a microcosm of the change in MGM Studios, where it was supposed to be a working studio. It's no longer that. You know,
I think
it's
that's
they can't
exactly
say that, and the attraction is a microcosm of what has been happening for the whole theme park.
When I go back and update the description of this attraction for the unofficial guide, I'm going to have to go back and listen to this podcast because I think there are a couple of great quotes in there. The next one is over in Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom. It's the Frontierland Shooting Arcade. Actually down to 2 stars or below for virtually everyone.
Is it just because it's more money now?
I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, here's the thing though. I mean, you think about what you're doing. You're picking up a rifle and you're shooting at targets. It's essentially a Wii, but you're paying $1 per play for it, right?
This is really commentary on America's changing views on rifles, and that assault rifles are preferred by America, and bolt action rifles just aren't going to cut it anymore.
The I'm not even going to comment on it. The next one, this was a surprise to me actually. Muppet Vision 3D down in every category.
What? They obviously do not listen to this podcast.
Well, maybe they do. Down in, 4 stars. It's down slightly. I mean, 4 stars for still every group except for seniors, which give it 3.5 stars, but not as popular as it used to be. And I don't know if it's the film that's aging, or that it's the quality of the film, or Muppets haven't been on television in forever.
That's what I was going to say.
That's where I was going to go too. Yeah, you haven't
Maybe
seen any
maybe
new
that's it.
movies lately. I mean, they're not doing anything with the Muppets.
I think you're right, Mike. I think it's not so much that the content of the show is bad. I think it's the relevance of the Muppets has degraded over the past couple of years because they haven't done anything.
And anyone who's under 10, they're not really going to know who these Muppets are.
Right. Good point. Let's see. One that's gone up slightly, and this could be because maybe it was not highly rated to begin with, but Journey to Imagination with Figment is now 3, 3.5, and 3 stars for preschools, grade schools, and teens. What the hell do they know about anything? Laugh Floor Comedy Club is, I think we talked about this in a previous podcast, doing very well with across every demographic. Even preschool kids give it 3.5 stars. It's 4 stars for grade school, 4 stars for teens, which is up slightly, 4 stars for young adults over 30, and seniors as well. That's a solid attraction. I mean, it doesn't look like it cost $1 bajillion to make, and to put in a 4-star attraction in that space is, I think, a great use of it. Lights Motor Action is up slightly for young adults in the over 30 crowd to 4 stars from 3.5.
I think the premise of the attraction, it sells a lot of it. You know, people. It is good. It's just so unevenly paced, and the non-stunt parts are I really don't like. I think the stunt parts are very good. I really like when they're actually driving and doing stuff. I find it immensely interesting. It's real. It's not. I mean, they're driving cars. I mean, they're not on tracks. You know, so there's that element of it that there's a sense of danger. That kind of NASCAR thing to it, but you know, they're actually performing these stunts in front of you. It's just I wish they could do something better than the fake filming premise that they try to pass off as a storyline.
Yeah, they should sort of skip that, or yeah, and maybe they shouldn't play the movie clips back, but they're only doing it to spend time. Let's move over to Epcot very quickly. An interesting observation on the pavilions. We don't actually rate the pavilions in the book yet. We don't give them star ratings like we do the attractions, but we're going to start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that was interesting for us to look at was when you have a pavilion with a ride, do people rate the two things the same, or do they actually think independently or rate independently an attraction and the pavilion? And it looks like they do, very interestingly. So I'm going to give you 4 examples, and I want you guys to tell me which one you think is rated higher. Which pairs are rated higher? The Mexico Pavilion, the new Grand Fiesta Tour ride, the Norway Pavilion, and Maelstrom ride. Which do you think is rated higher? The
Maelstrom.
Pavilion or not? Which the Pavilion or the ride?
Mexico Pavilion is higher than the Mexico Pavilion is rated higher, but the Maelstrom is rated the higher of the 2 attractions.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And Mr. Knoll?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, you're all wrong. So the pavilions are actually rated higher than the rides for Mexico and Norway, especially by
Really?
seniors. Yeah, the greatest disparity is in the over 30 and the seniors crowd. What's really interesting is that nobody rates the Grand Fiesta Tour particularly highly, but virtually everyone, even young children, give the Mexico Pavilion at least 3.5, if not 4 stars.
Oh, the Mexico Pavilion is cool.
The pavilion is definitely cool, but people do seem to consider the ride separate from the pavilion because the results are statistically significantly different. Okay, moving on. Staying in Epcot though, Mission Space down. Grade school teens.
It never helps when people die on your attraction.
Exactly.
Death really never gets your rating that
Maybe
high.
you just stop killing people and you might be able to balance out that. That's not true. They didn't really do. Rock and Roller Coaster up, and I think this teens, young adults, and over 30 now rated as 5 stars. I think this has to do a lot with Aerosmith themselves.
You mean being more relevant, or
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the band has gotten more prominent when you compare it to from 1998 until currently. They're much more. I would think, and I have a little bit of a biased view here, but I like to think that Aerosmith its prominence has risen in the last 10 years.
I think so too. Sounds Dangerous down across the board.
Oh, there's a surprise.
No, really, shocker.
Scopa, when was the last time you went to Sounds Dangerous?
Oh my God!
I'll tell you when I went. You guys will laugh.
I've gone only once, probably 2 years ago.
I went with Dawn during Mouse Fest, and at the end of it, she turned to me. She said, "That sucked, right?" I love that woman. Next one, up actually across the categories of grade school, teens, young adults, and over 30. Test Track.
Because it's actually working.
Come on now. Why? I mean, it's amazing. If the numbers were this good, America would be a better place. I don't know why Test Track is. Test Track is legitimately a 5-star attraction for teens, and a solid 4.5 for grade school, young adult, over 30. Even seniors give it almost 4.5 stars.
Well, here, I'll prove my point here. Newell, what's your favorite part of Test Track?
The outside, the ride.
Thank you. All they need to do is just stick your head out the car window when you're driving on I-4 and you have the same attraction. That's the best part. Or they should have just made that attraction.
So, interestingly, even the Test Track Pavilion is rated between 3.5 and 4 stars by everyone.
Really?
Yeah, so again, remember the pavilion.
Do you like going to car dealerships? Is that what we're saying?
That's exactly what it is. You're right.
That's what it is.
It's an interesting point there. Let's see, what is up? The Seas main take and exhibits is 4 stars by every single group. It's the Seas exhibits are actually rated higher than the Seas with Nemo and Friends, than the Nemo ride.
I think people just like it. Animals.
For every group except for preschoolers.
Well, they can't eat solid foods yet, so they probably don't have.
So what do they know really about anything? I thought that was really, 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 really interesting.
That is. I mean, the manatees are cool. I like when you're waiting for the for Turtle Talk, you have the stingrays over there, and you have the jellyfish.
Right.
It adds to it. Scopa?
I like turtles.
I like turtles. Very good.
So here are the next three we'll talk about are and in fact the last three of the next four are Magic Kingdom attractions. I'm going to lump them in together, and I'll tell you what they are, and then we can talk about why we think they're up. Tomorrowland Indy Speedway, up for grade school, teens, over 30, even seniors give it 2.5 stars. The other one is Tomorrowland Transit Authority. Preschoolers rate it 3.5 stars. Virtually everyone else gives it 3.5 or 4 stars. Up for grade school, teens, young adults over 30, and seniors. And then the other one is the Carousel of Progress. Preschoolers give it 3 stars. Grade school, 3 stars. Teens, 4 stars. Young adults, 4 stars. Over 30, 4 stars. Seniors, 4 stars. Interestingly, young adults rate it higher than seniors.
I can see TTA. I can see Carousel of Progress. I want to know what crack they're giving people in line on the Speedway. That people
when was the last time you rode Speedway? Because I rode it in
Yeah, it was a hard ticket event that I rode last because the lines are just too crazy.
The line is terrible. Yeah, I don't.
So I went early one morning after I did Big Thunder Mountain. If you've got a child, remember we talked about with the Cinderella's Golden Carousel, the parents and the children are actually doing something together and talking and interacting. I think it's the same thing going on here during the Indy Speedway. It's the parent and the child sitting together and doing something together instead of sitting passively at a screen, staring at a screen. They're actually doing something, and not only that, it's interactive. You get to control the car, so it's parents and children talking, having fun, and interacting with their environment.
It could be.
Or that could be the Jack Daniel's talking.
That could be why that attraction is still around.
That's why the lines are so long, I guess, right?
But if you look at it, it's literally it's 3.5 or 4 stars for everyone. So that's really interesting. So I was trying to think about this on the way home. If I was going to design based on these numbers, what kind of attraction would I design? What are the elements of an attraction that I would design if I was designing? We're going to think about that, but I think that might be a topic for another show. Finally, I know we got to wrap up pretty soon. The other attraction that's a significant mover is Turtle Talk with Crush, actually up for grade schoolers to 4 stars, up to 3.5 stars for the over 30, and up to 4 stars for seniors. But everyone gives it at least 4 stars.
Oh, it's great.
Different show every time. That's why.
And it's funny.
I think so too. Yeah. Plus, it's funny, right?
Entertaining. Yeah. Hit the nail right on the head.
It's intimate. The technology's good. I think it's a good attraction. Anyway, so those are the changes we'll expect to see. Possibly in the next 2008 edition of the guide. If not 2008, then they'll be in early 2009. The other thing that we're working on that is going to be completely different. First time we've ever done it. First time anyone in the industry has ever done it is a whole new way of looking at hotel surveys. What are the things that are important to people when they pick out a hotel? What are the things that they decide are important after the stay? And then we ask them a whole bunch of questions around would they recommend the hotel to a friend? And I think there's some interesting results. So we'll talk about it on a future podcast.
Excellent. Well, that's it for us today. If you want to read our show notes, send us your comments, or listen to our older episodes, go to the WDW Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio. Today's show is sponsored by DVCByResale.com. DVCBuyResale.com is a great place to buy or sell your Disney Vacation Club membership. You can view their current Disney Vacation Club resales, get answers to frequently asked questions, and see the DVC points charts all at DVCBuyResale.com. Or call Chantel directly at 1-800-844-4099.